Hi, I'm Betty. Welcome to my kitchen. The question I'm often asked is if I do cook dinner every single night. Well, no, I don't. We occasionally eat out at restaurants, at friends' houses, but every so often, my guilty pleasure is Chinese takeout. And quite often when we have it, we have rice left over, plain rice. And being of the waste not, want not school, I make my own fried rice with the leftover. So here is a small container from the restaurant of rice, which is nice and cold. If you don't have leftover rice, you'll want to cook it early in the day and chill it so it's ready to make this. Next, I have about a cup of roughly chopped fresh shrimp. I have 2 eggs that are beaten. I have about half a cup of frozen green peas, about a half a cup or half a medium-sized onion chopped not too finely. I happen to have a couple of slices of ham left over from the weekend, and I've got some chopped scallions. So to start off, we're going to use the eggs to make a very thin omelet. So to the stove. I have my skillet heating, and I'm just going to brush it very lightly with a little vegetable oil. And then take my beaten eggs, pour them in there, and I'm going to swirl the pan. So this will almost be like a crepe without the flour, of course. And let that cook. It'll only take a minute or two. What I want is a nice sheet of cooked egg. We're almost there. Make sure this is loose. And you can see it cooks just that quickly because it is so thin, of course. And now that that's done, I'm going to turn it out onto a cutting board. And there it is. Now, as soon as that cools, I'm going to roll it up and cut it into shreds. All right, I'm just going to roll this omelet up. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut it long ways, and then just chop it into shreds. As you can see, this dish does have a good amount of protein. It makes a great lunch, a side dish if you're having other Chinese dishes, or it would even be a great after-school snack for kids. So first I'm going to add just a little bit of vegetable oil, about a tablespoon or so. And the first ingredient I'll put in are my onions. I'm just going to let those cook until they're slightly softened. And that'll take a minute or so. I pushed the onions to the side, and now I'm going to add my shrimp and just let that cook a little bit. Just going to let these get pink and no more. And that will also take a minute or two. All right, my shrimp are almost cooked. You may find during the cooking process you might want to add about another teaspoon or so of oil. which I did in this case. And now I'm transferring these shrimp to a clean bowl. You do not want to put the cooked shrimp back into the bowl that contained them when they were raw. Just not a good, safe food practice. So once we get these out, and the oil I'm using, incidentally, is canola oil. You can use any flavorless vegetable oil. Okay. I'm going to add just a little more oil, just about another tablespoon or so. And at this point, my onions are nicely softened. I'm going to add in this rice. Give this a good stir. Combine that with the onions and the oil. Essentially, this is a stir-frying technique that we're using, but in a non-stick skillet and using a silicone spatula as opposed to a wok. Just going to break that lump up with my hand. All right, now we're ready to essentially dump in the rest of our ingredients. Some lovely little green peas. I'll add the shredded egg back in. If you had leftover chicken, you could add that. If you had some leftover pork from pork chops, perhaps, you could certainly add that in. This is a kind of anything but the kitchen sink recipe. So I'm going to add in the ham that I had left over. And at this point, we're just really cooking to heat everything through. I'm going to add in my chopped green onions. It's getting nice and warm. So I'll add my shrimp back in. Get those juices in also. Now you can serve this just as it is, or if you like, you can add some soy sauce. I prefer to use the low sodium soy sauce. So I'm just going to add, maybe a tablespoon or so. We'll see how that looks. There, just right. Get that all nicely coated. And that's it. The fried rice is done and ready to serve. And there you have it, fried rice, a delicious fresh take on a Chinese favorite. I hope you'll enjoy it. For further information and even more recipes, please visit my website.